Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain an erotic thriller series called Dark Desire from 2022. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The second episode opens with Alma crying on the road after seeing Darío and Julieta kissing each other. The scene then turns to Darío and Julieta being intimate in their bed. Darío gives her a necklace with a red heart pendant. Meanwhile, Alma is talking to her therapist about how Darío and Julieta are getting married just a few blocks away from her house. She thinks Darío did this intentionally. Monica tries to reason with her, saying that it doesn't make sense that they would fly from the United States here to Mexico to get married near her house, and explains that maybe her parents live nearby. Meanwhile, Julieta is telling Darío that he's a bit different after coming to Mexico, and Darío agrees that maybe because it's Mexico. He then asks Julieta whether she likes the necklace. She expresses that she loves everything about Darío. The story goes back to Alma, who is telling Monica that she needs to warn Julieta because she might be living a lie. Monica disagrees that Alma is lying to herself as she is doing this for herself. Monica warns her to not meet the girl, live her life like before, and not tell anyone about this. The scene changes to Esteban, who is doing communal service in the church. The father comes up to him and asks about how he is doing, and Esteban informs that he is doing better than ever. The father asks a favor from him as they need volunteers to make a shelter for single moms. Esteban agrees to do the favor, and the father writes his full name down. A scene is then shown where Esteban is telling someone that his name is Inigo Lascano, and he was born in Mexico City to a Basque father and a Mexican mother. He continues by saying that he's here to represent his client, Darío Guerra, and his great-grandfather Cristobal Guerra, and he's here to execute the trust fund. As it turns out, he was rehearsing his lines in front of Darío, and he gives Esteban his passport. Meanwhile, the real Inigo Lascano turns out to be Julieta's father, who checks into the hotel Darío and Julieta are currently in to meet with them. They both greet Inigo and sit down to talk. Julieta informs her father that she's going to have a girls' night, and Darío suggests that maybe he should have a bachelor's night too. While talking, his eyes notice a man sitting in front of him, resembling Esteban a little bit. He starts to remember Esteban confronting him about his betrayal, but comes back to the present when Julieta asks him whether anything's wrong. Darío tells her that it's a headache, and Julieta gets up to get him some aspirin. After Julieta leaves, Inigo asks Darío whether the man sitting in front of them is him, and Darío confirms that it's not. Darío asks him whether he knows Esteban has been released yet. Inigo replies that he doesn't know, but he'll find out. At night, Zoe and Alma are having dinner together. Zoe asks Alma if she is worried because of Esteban, and Alma asks her whether she visited Esteban. Zoe replies that he's her uncle, and she never stopped talking to him. Alma asks about the details, and Zoe stops her, asking why she is pretending that he is dangerous. Alma gets furious that Zoe also believes Esteban, like everyone else. Alma explains to Zoe what Esteban did, pretending like everything was her fault and he was just helping them. And now he comes out like nothing happened, which is not normal. Zoe reminds Alma that she is not normal either. She tore up the family for a 25-year-old. She doesn't have a job and lives in her parents' house. Zoe then tries to softly explain to Alma that it's not like she doesn't believe her. It's just Esteban is her uncle, and nothing will come between them. Meanwhile, Julieta is telling Darío to see how she looks in her wedding dress, and Darío says that he thought it was bad luck for the groom to see the bride in the wedding dress before the wedding. Julieta disregards this and goes to change into the dress. Inigo comes to their room and informs Darío that Esteban is out of the prison. He asks Darío whether he learned anything about Andorra, and Darío replies that he didn't. Julieta comes out wearing the dress, surprising her dad. As the dress belonged to Julieta's late mother, he's a bit shocked but agrees that it's a lovely way to remember. Her dad also says that he thought it was bad luck that Darío saw Julieta in her wedding dress before the wedding. Meanwhile, Alma is in her house thinking about Darío while it's pouring outside. The scene changes to Lise reading a poem to the group therapy. Alma comes a bit late, so she tells them sorry. Lise asks Alma whether she knows this poet who is from Argentina. Alma informs that she knows her, and also adds that the poet committed suicide. Lise explains that she wanted to read the poem to them because it can relate to her experience. Desires so intense that she was powerless. Desires that even though it made her feel like living a dream, it was actually a nightmare. Lise explains that she thought she was in control and can walk away anytime she wanted, but it was him who controlled everything about her. This resonates with Alma with how she feels about Darío. She asks Lise whether she told him that it was over. Lise reveals that she did many times, but he would come back and pull her right back in by saying that she could never escape something like this. Meanwhile, Dario is showing Inigo the footage he got from the Andorran bank. In the footage, it can be seen that someone closely resembling Dario is collecting all of his inheritance. Dario explains to Inigo that it can't be him as he was in New York. The scene changes to Eugenia, who is asking another officer if they got any new information, but the officer informs that, unfortunately, he got nothing useful. He then shows her some pictures where Esteban is praising the Lord and doing communal services. The officer asks her to assign him to something more interesting, but Eugenia informs the man named Mendoza that something is interesting here and shows a particular picture of Esteban. The scene changes to Esteban, who receives a mail from someone with a picture of the hotel that Dario is currently living in. Meanwhile, Alma has gone to the hotel to meet with Julieta. Julieta comes to the hotel with her girlfriends and they drop her there. Alma and Julieta get on the elevator, where Alma tries to tell her about Dario, that they were lovers, and she doesn't know about Dario properly. Alma starts holding her and forcing her to listen, and this freaks Julieta out. Julieta manages to run away from the elevator, and Alma follows her in the hallway. Julieta tells Alma that she will call the police, but Alma pleads with her to listen. Right at that moment, Dario arrives at that place. Alma runs as fast as she can, seeing Dario, but he starts following her. Dario asks her what she said to her, but Alma replies that only the truth. Alma tries to leave, but Dario stops her, saying she is also messing with his fiancée. Alma informs him that this won't work this time. She informs Dario that she knew their location from the invitation he had sent her. Dario is confused when he hears this. She tells him that he has planned all of this. Someone starts coming from down the stairs and they run inside the laundry room. Inside, Dario tells Alma that he planned to leave Mexico and forget about everything and the pain. He had a normal life with Julieta until he saw her again. Alma tells him that he can't pull her in again with his words, and Dario tells her that they're tied to each other. Alma informs him that she knows he did all of this for the inheritance. Alma also adds that all of the women who came into his life had to suffer because of his sick plans with Esteban. He doesn't know how to love someone. Dario asks her if she wants to know how he burns his inheritance, and Alma tells him to show her. Dario starts kissing her on the lips. They then start making love in the laundry room. The scene changes to Julieta's friend asking her whether she is getting cold feet about the marriage. Julieta is a bit shocked by this question and tries to keep her calm. Her friend tells her that if she ever feels any regret about her marriage, they can go to a deserted island. They then cheer over some drinks. Meanwhile, Alma and Dario are making love while Julieta is enjoying her girls' night. The story goes back to Inigo, who is calling Leonardo to confirm whether he will be attending his daughter's wedding, and Leonardo assures him that he will. After ending the call, Leonardo starts being intimate with his lover. The scene changes to Dario, who is swearing to Alma that he didn't send the invitation and that his father-in-law is in charge of everything, including the guest list. Alma tells him that this can't be a coincidence as it was addressed to Leonardo and came to her house. Dario is confused about whether she is not with Leonardo anymore. Alma informs him that they got divorced, and she lives in an apartment which to her parents. Dario tells her that he has to tell Julieta. Even though Julieta is wonderful, Alma being here changes things for him. Alma disagrees, and Dario tells her what's happening between them is stronger than them, and she can't escape something like this. Meanwhile, Julieta is on her phone at the party. Something clearly bothered her that she saw on her phone, and she hurriedly left the party. The story goes back to Alma, who is asking Dario about what happened to him during all this time. And Dario promises that he'll explain everything to her at a later time. Alma tells Dario that they can't be together, and this relationship is toxic, and Dario agrees. But to Dario, they are everything that matters, so he'll choose her, even if it's toxic. He can't lose her again. Suddenly, Dario's phone buzzes, and he tells her that he has to leave. After he opens the door, Inigo enters. Dario is quite shocked, and Inigo asks him whether he is going to his bachelor's party. Dario replies that he was just going for a walk. After Inigo enters the room, Alma hides under the bed. Inigo invites Dario to go to the bar and they leave. Inigo tells him that Julieta seemed a bit strange and upset about something, and the wedding. Dario is worried hearing this, and he tells Inigo that he will go to his room to talk with Julieta on the phone, and then will meet with Inigo at the bar. Inigo understands and leaves. He pretends to go to the room but instead goes to the emergency exit room. Meanwhile, Esteban has reached the hotel Dario is staying. Alma gets ready to leave the room. She gets a call from someone and picks up the call. She goes on to meet with the person where at their location. The scene changes to Julieta, who is standing at the edge of the hotel roof. Someone comes to the roof, and Julieta looks around, thinking it's Darío. Meanwhile, Inigo is leaving the bar after waiting for quite some time for Darío. Outside, he notices something being dropped from up in the pool-like area in front of the hotel. As it's revealed, it's the necklace Darío gave to Julieta. The episode ends with Julieta's body falling into the pool, while Inigo is screaming and processing what just happened. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.